Welcome back to Best Smartphones of 2016. In this, our last installment, we are featuring the Motorola Lenovo-made Moto Z, though this particular model is the Moto Z Droid due to its Verizon exclusiveness. But the specs are pretty much the same, though the Z is not the only device in this family. There's also the Z Force, which features the same amazing specs in a slightly larger package to accommodate a larger battery. The Moto Z features a new design language not featured in prior flagships in Moto's history. Its construction is a mix of aluminum and Gorilla Glass, and the back has a very interesting mix of aluminum, glass, and some connectivity ports for something called Moto Mods. Another interesting fact of the Moto Z is how thin it is. Coming in at 5.2 millimeters thin, it's one of the thinnest smartphones you can buy today, though with that come a few sacrifices. Meet the iPhone 7 of Android flagships. The number of ports on the Moto Z is 1, and that is one single USB-C port. There is no headphone jack, but thankfully in the box you do get a USB Type-C to 3.5mm headphone jack adapter. The display is a beautiful 5.5-inch Quad HD AMOLED panel, which has very good color, saturation, and brightness, but it's not quite as bright as some other panels in the industry, but it's certainly one of the best around. Internally, we are looking at a Snapdragon 820 processor with 4GB of RAM and either 32 or 64GB of internal flash storage. It also features a micro SD card slot for expansion, and all of this being paired to a near vanilla experience of Android on these Moto devices equals some pretty impressive performance. And what Android version, you may ask? 7.0, of course. While it's not the latest 7.1 release, it's certainly ahead of many flagships in the Android market if you exclude the Pixel and Pixel XL. The experience is lightning quick and still has features that I love to use, like the chop chop that turns on the flashlight and the double flick to turn on the camera. One feature that's new on the Moto Z is the fingerprint sensor. It's the little rounded square below the panel, and it works really well, but it looks non-cohesive with the rest of the design. Other features include the 13-megapixel rear-facing camera with an f1.8 aperture with dual LED flash, and while it sounds great on paper, Moto and cameras have never seemed complete on any of their devices, and the images off the Moto Z aren't the best, especially with competition like the iPhone 7 and Galaxy S7. But one of the biggest features on the Moto Z is the Moto Mods function. On the rear of this device are some magnets and gold pins that allow mods to snap on using the camera ring and the magnets to attach. These can range from simple cover backs like you see here to speakers, battery packs, projectors, and even camera attachments. It's not exactly modular, but it's definitely a very interesting feature. The only downside is the price tag. While the simple cover backs are pretty inexpensive, things like the projector and the camera do cost hundreds of dollars. Personally, I like to use the JBL speakers because they get very loud, and the Incipio battery case to improve battery life. But overall, the Moto Z is one of the best Android devices from 2016. It features great hardware, wonderful software, and one very interesting design. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, let me know by hitting that thumbs up button below. And as always, my name is Marco Hanna, and I'll catch you in my next video.